Picture this: an island veiled in mystery, whispered about in hushed tones among the elite. Welcome, adventurers of truth, to our expedition into the enigmatic realm of Jeffrey Epstein's Island. Buckle up as we embark on a quest to peel back the layers of secrecy, uncovering the truth that lies beneath the facade of paradise. Accusers say billionaire's private paradise of Little St. James in U.S. Virgin Islands was center of international sex trafficking ring. The guests to Epstein's Islands came from across the world and from the highest ranks of society, celebrities and scientists and members of royal families, touching down in a private jet and then boarding a helicopter to the island. Its owner liked to call it Little St. Jeff. The locals called it Pedophile Island. But what is the truth about Little St. James, the 75-acre private paradise in the U.S. Virgin Islands that billionaire sex abuser Jeffrey Epstein once called home? A criminal complaint from the Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands described it as the perfect hideaway and haven for trafficking young women and underage girls for sexual servitude, child abuse, and sexual assault. On this island, the complaint says, Epstein and his associates could avoid detection of their illegal activity from Virgin Islands and federal law enforcement, and prevent these young women and underage girls from leaving freely and escaping the abuse. Where is Jeffrey Epstein's Island and what is it like? Little St. James is a small island fringed by coral reefs in the bright blue waters of the U.S. Virgin Islands, with sheltered inlets and forested groves rising to dramatic windswept ridges and craggy cliffs. It lies just off the southeastern tip of St. Thomas, one of the Caribbean archipelago's 3 main islands. The Virgins were purchased from Denmark by the U.S. government at the height of the First World War in order to stop them being used as a German submarine base. Today, many financial experts regard them as a tax haven, with huge discounts on corporation tax and personal income tax available to companies based there. Jeffrey Epstein's private island. How the billionaire sex offender hid from public view in his Caribbean fiefdom. It was in the Virgins that Epstein registered as a sex offender in 2010, following his first conviction for child prostitution in 2008. He also based his shell companies in a small unmarked office in a seaside strip mall on St. Thomas, alongside a Sam's Mini Mart and a salon called Happy Nails. In 1998, he bought Little St. James from venture capitalist Arch Cummin via a shell company, reportedly paying just under $8 million, £6 million. The new owner quickly scoured away all the native vegetation and replaced it with 40-foot palm trees. Starting in 2007, Epstein began a massive program of building and remodeling that drew suspicion from local officials. His main compound nearly doubled in size, sprouting into a plush mansion with an outside terrace connecting the master bedroom and the swimming pool, along with a desalination system. Satellite photos show a sprawling network of terraces, cottages, beach houses, swimming pools, docks, utility buildings, a helipad, a tennis court, slipways, some kind of enclosed lake or lagoon, and various huts of unknown purpose, all connected by palm-lined roads where golf buggies ferried guests from place to place. A journey across the island reportedly took about 5 minutes. Stunning drone footage posted on YouTube offers a closer look, with a huge sundial at the center of the island big enough to walk around on, and 2 tall American flags posted at opposite ends of the island. At the other end from Epstein's Manor is a squat boxy blue and white striped structure often referred to as a temple, surrounded by a terrace with a red labyrinth motif. It previously had a golden dome and 2 gold statues on its roof, which were reportedly torn off in Hurricane Maria. The building differs greatly from Epstein's original planning permit for an octagonal music pavilion and has become a lightning rod for fevered speculation. Theorists have variously described it as the entrance to an underground lair, an altar to an Egyptian deity, a burial ground for his parents, or a site of ritual sexual abuse. But an investigation by Business Insider concluded that it was most likely a private study and music room for Epstein. What was life like on the island? In the days before his 2008 conviction, Epstein would visit Little St. James 2 or 3 times a month, staying several days at a time. One former employee described it as a Zen-like retreat, where the financier would stroll around in flip-flops, with meditative music playing from speakers and the women often sunbathing topless. There were always women, of course, frequently attractive, sometimes suspiciously young, on the arms of Epstein or one of his many guests, or sometimes ferry over in groups aboard a 38-foot boat called the Lady Ghislaine, reportedly after Epstein's longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell. The island had a staff of about 70, from groundskeepers and gardeners through laundry ladies to on-call boat captains. They wore black or white polo shirts and were sworn to strict secrecy, with instructions to stay out of Epstein's sight when doing their work. They were also forbidden to enter either of Epstein's 2 offices in the main manor, one of which housed a closely guarded steel safe. According to the LA Times, Epstein also had an enthusiasm for pirate treasure. His name for old rum bottles and crockery found about the island. He would pay servants between $100 and $1,000 for interesting finds in good condition. He was a very kind man, and while I don't approve of things he's been accused of, I liked him very much. Miles Alexander, who together with his wife Kathy ran the island between 1999 and 2007, told the Daily Mail, "Our job was about discretion. We have a clear conscience that we didn't witness anything untoward." The South African couple described how Epstein did not like to eat meals in front of people, instead taking snacks to eat in his room, where he would also receive daily massages. Disturbing him there was absolutely forbidden, although they did once find a box of sex toys while he was out. When they were hired, the Alexanders say they were told, "What Jeffrey wants, Jeffrey gets." Who did Epstein host on his island? Of course, there were always guests. Among the famous names reportedly hosted by Epstein were theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking, Nobel laureate Lawrence Krauss, comedian Chris Tucker, Victoria's secret magnate Lew Wexner, model Naomi Campbell, former Tony Blair aide Lord Peter Mandelson, and Prince Andrew of the United Kingdom. It has been claimed that Bill Clinton was also a guest, though he denies ever having been there. Donald Trump reportedly flew on one of Epstein's private jets, but it is unclear if he visited the island. The magician David Copperfield is even said to have proposed to supermodel Claudia Schiffer there. Guests would arrive on one of Epstein's Gulfstream jets at Cyril E. King Airport on St. Thomas, in a private area separate from the main runway. They would then be shuttled to Little St. James on one of Epstein's black helicopters. Epstein was fond of treating the guests, reportedly paying for a submarine to be modified to give a seabed tour to Professor Hawking, who had never been underwater before. One former employee described it as like a 5-star hotel where nobody paid. In December 2023, U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska ruled that there was no legal justification to keep the names redacted as John and Jane Does. This has paved the way for several famous figures to find their names publicly linked to Epstein, some of whom may be alleged visitors to the island. What really happened on Epstein's island? That is the subject of multiple ongoing court cases, but the accusations are shocking. According to a lawsuit filed by Prince Andrew's accuser, Virginia Roberts Giuffre, Little St. James was the center of a worldwide grooming scheme in which recruiters working for Epstein targeted young women who were open to abuse and manipulation, play on their hopes and fears, dazzled them with displays of vast wealth and power, and then forced them to have sex with clients while keeping them in line with threats and blackmail. Ms. Giuffre said that Prince Andrew had sexually abused her on Little St. James when she was 17, which the prince unequivocally denied. In 2022, he agreed to settle the suit out of court for an undisclosed sum, without admitting liability. The Virgin Islands Attorney General's office made similar claims, saying, between 2001 and 2019, the Epstein enterprise transported underage girls and young women to the Virgin Islands, who were then taken via helicopter or private vessel to Little St. James, where they were deceptively subjected to sexual servitude, forced to engage in sexual acts, and coerced into commercial sexual activity and forced labor. To accomplish his illegal ends, Epstein formed an association with multiple defendants and others, both companies and individuals, who were willing to participate in, facilitate, and conceal Epstein's criminal activity in exchange for Epstein's bestowal of financial and other benefits, including sexual services and forced labor from victims. Some of those victims, it added, were as young as 12. One alleged victim told CBS News that she had been raped in Epstein's office in St. Thomas, and that he had a gun strapped to the bedpost in his bedroom on Little St. James. The complaint says Epstein kept a computerized list of underage girls in or near the Virgin Islands who could be brought to the island. And so, our journey comes to an end, but the quest for truth continues. Let us not forget the lessons learned as we unravel the secrets of Epstein's Island. Until next time. Fellow truth seekers, stay curious, stay vigilant, and never cease your pursuit of knowledge. Thank you for joining us on this riveting exploration. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling adventures into the unknown. Remember, the truth awaits those brave enough to seek it.